friends, today I can finally show you the video we've all been waiting for, and it's about how my parents cut my fur for the first time. Make sure to stay until the end of the video to see the final result. So first thing that my parents did was that they checked that I'm all clean and there's like no dirt in my fur. And afterwards, they brushed me with a brush and also with a comb, which is super important so that they can go easily through my fur with the shearing machine. And that's just like the first and most important step because it makes the whole grooming process a lot easier. And afterwards, what we did is that they put all the equipment that we're gonna need on the table. So we have everything that we need in one place and we can just like start with the whole grooming process. And one of the most important equipments for today is my favorite salmon cream out of the tube. And one person had it in the front. And that was super handy because one person could just like feed me from the front. And I could just like lick the cream out of the tube. And the other person could groom me. And like this, I was being very still for the whole time. And everything worked out very well. So the first body part my parents started with was my back, and we started with an 18mm attachment for the razor, and that worked out very well because we didn't want my fur to go too thin and we didn't want to cut it too short. And my parents basically started at my neck and then moved line after line down to my tail. And to be honest, it was a little bit difficult to do it very evenly. And it was like more difficult than expected. Maybe also because my fur just got so long, we're not sure. But maybe it's also because it's the first time that they're grooming me in general. And we're going to show you all the products in the end, but we also linked them in the info box below if you're interested. And then after shaving my back, they moved on to the 15mm razor attachment just to get a good overlay to my legs because we're gonna cut the fur around my legs a little bit shorter, only to 12mm. So we just really wanted to make sure that we have a good transition from the back to my legs. So we did the transition with 15mm and then the legs with 12mm. And basically for the legs, my parents just like lifted one leg after the other to cut my fur and then also moved down from the beginning of my leg to the end. And because we already cut my paws about 1 week ago or so, that's why we didn't have to cut them today, which made it a lot easier because the whole process already took us 1.5 hours. So we were happy that we cut the fur between and around my paws already last week. And we also did a video on that. If you want to watch that, definitely go ahead because there we show how to also cut the fur beneath the toes, which is also very important so that I can walk properly. And personally, we don't like it too much if the fur on the paws is cut like super short with like a shearing machine. That's why we always just like use the scissors. And after my legs, my parents started to move on to my belly. And basically my mom just lifted my front legs and then she cut the fur beneath my belly. And therefore we also again used the 80mm razor attachment because right now it's still a little bit cold outside sometimes. So it's better if my fur is a little bit longer there as well. Then we moved on to my back, to like my bum and the fur under my tail. And we thought that it's a little bit more practical and also more hygienic if the fur is a little bit shorter around there. So we used the 15mm razor attachment and we made sure to cut the fur around there very carefully and to just like cut it a little bit shorter. And yeah, basically that was it around there. And then we moved on to the tail. And we basically did cut the tail a little bit with a shearing machine with a 15mm attachment, but also just like with scissors. And we just like thinned out the fur a little bit and made sure that it looks good. Then last but not least, we moved on to my head, which is the most important thing because yeah, the head makes up the whole face. So we used the 18mm razor attachment there and started with the fur under my ears and around my ears because there was a lot of fur to cut, and we were very careful with that and just like lifted the ears very carefully, and then we made sure to stop around the eyes because we were a little bit too afraid of going there with the shearing machine, so we just used my rounded scissors and then also our thinning scissors in order to cut the fur around my eyes and around my beard and also a little bit on the top of my head. And for me, it was very important that the fur around my eyes goes very, very short so that you can see my brown teddy bear eyes again. And in the end, we're honest, we had to do a lot of fine-tuning because on some places we just found fur that was a lot longer than it was on other places. And I think it's just like because it was our first time cutting my fur on our own. And also it was like the first time cutting my fur in general, so it got super, super long, as you saw in the beginning. So we had to do more fine-tuning and just like cut more hair here and there, just like depending on how I look. And to be honest, we're also very happy with the final result for the first time. I think I look super cute and my parents did a good job. And I'm very excited to know how you think how I look and how you think my look turned out, whether you like me better as a puppy or now that I look more like a poodle already. And we were just like also very, very surprised on how much fur we were able to cut off after 5 months. It was so much. And so we're looking forward to our next grooming appointment in maybe like 8 weeks, so the fur won't grow as long anymore. And then we just wanted to give you a little overview over our equipment. We already showed you the brush and the comb in one of our first videos, which was about like my daily care routine. And then for the cutting, we also had like our thinning scissors, just like to cut out and thin out my fur. Then we had this rounded scissors that we used around my eyes. And we have this shearing machine. And yeah, that was basically it. And then of course my snackies, which was very important. And as already mentioned, we linked everything in the description box if you're interested and if you want to check out the products that we used. And I really hope that this video was helpful for you guys if you want to maybe groom your poodle by yourself, because it's actually a lot easier than expected. And I think we're definitely going to get better from time to time. And I'm already looking forward to seeing you again in my next video. Have a great week.